Wrestlers and their fans have a very unique relationship. It should be simple. Wrestler does good things, fans cheer wrestler, wrestler does more good things to get more cheers. If only it were that easy in real life. Sometimes fans will overstep their mark and performers will get justifiably peeved off with them. Equally, sometimes it's the wrestler who goes too far, lashing out at their supporters for seemingly no reason. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are 10 times wrestlers got angry with fans. Join us.
But first, who is the Diesel to your Shawn Michaels? Who is the Rhea Ripley to your Dominic Mysterio? Who is the Ralphus to your Chris Jericho? Well, maybe not that last one, but if you want the best protection out there is nought better than NordVPN. Cheers to Nord for sponsoring this video. We at Cultaholic truly believe that Nord is the best service of its kind. But don't take my word for it, because Nord was actually named one of Time Magazine's 2022 best inventions. Gonna argue with Time, are ya? So here is how I use Nord. Obviously, I live in the United Kingdom, but with NordVPN I can set myself to be anywhere in the world virtually and access content from those regions. So this means if I fancied it, I could set myself to be somewhere in the world virtually and sign up for a certain sports entertainment network for a fraction of the price. Or if I happen to live in the United States, I could sign up for that sports entertainment network even though it doesn't properly exist as it did in the United States before. All of the suplexes, pile drivers and hurricane ranas you could want for a fraction of the price. Oh, and it works for plenty of other on-demand services too. There is even a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if Nord isn't for you, you can get your money back, no bother at all. So grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/cultaholic, link in the description below, to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan, plus 4 additional months free. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee.
Number 10, Stone Cold Bill Goldberg. Ever since both men got super famous in the late 90s, there has been an ongoing joke that Bill Goldberg looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin and vice versa. I mean, they're both white guys who are bald and have goatees. By that logic, they're also the spitting image of Walter White. Now that's a TV show I'd watch. The former WCW World Champion has commented on this phenomenon, and specifically how it used to really annoy him. In a 2021 interview with Soundsphere, Goldberg said that both he and Austin used to get really irritated when fans would confuse them for the other. The pair have even discussed it amongst themselves. "I always took it personally and it made me mad," he said. "I thought that if they thought I was Steve, then they thought I was small." Oh yeah, famous cruiserweight competitor Stone Cold Steve Austin. Absolutely tiny, that guy. Goldberg then said that he and Austin joke about this now, but there was clearly a time when these mix-ups were not so amusing. Wait a second, is that Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg over there? Oh wait, it's just veteran actress Sir Ben Kingsley. Easy mistake to make. Number 9, Rey's Airport Ambush. It is well known that wrestlers have to travel a lot. It's also pretty well known that the USA is a pretty big place. I mean, it has a North and South Dakota. As a result, a significant portion of a wrestler's life is spent in airports. Unfortunately, airports are public places, meaning that idiots like these ones can just go up and harass their favorite stars at any time. This happened to Rey Mysterio a few months ago. The luchador was on his travels when a group of so-called fans approached him with boards covered in merchandise. They asked him to sign their stuff, but Rey replied that company policy forbade him from doing such. Actually, he used much spicier language, but we're a family-friendly channel. Although he doesn't blow up at the autograph hunters, Mysterio is clearly annoyed by their attempts to mine signatures from him. He even says that they're only doing this to make money, which, yeah, is almost certainly true. And the kicker? The poor guy doesn't even have his mask on. Bystanders probably thought it was a bit strange that these people were asking for autographs from a child, but that's the culture. Number 8, Sasha Banks hates airports too. It turns out that airports are terrible places to be a wrestler. In all honesty, I'm not a fan either. Everything's too expensive and there's always a kid screaming at the top of its lungs. Oh wait, that's just Rey Mysterio again. Mercedes Moné, formerly Sasha Banks in WWE, has also spoken out on the evils of these transitional places. On the Sam Roberts Wrestling podcast in 2017, she said that she was creeped out by people who tracked her down to certain places whilst traveling. She said, "I grew up a wrestling fan, but always in the back of my head I never thought, hey, they're gonna fly in, maybe I should wait at the airport for like 12 hours. Call yourself a real fan, Sasha." I'm kidding, obviously, this is incredibly creepy behaviour and should be stopped immediately. Basically, the moral of the story here is that if you see a wrestler in an airport, don't go up and harass them. Number 7, Enzo No. Oh god, I'm talking about Enzo Amore. Again, what did I do to deserve this? Alongside Big Cass in WWE, Enzo would whip crowds into a frenzy with his outlandish look, huge personality, and billions of catchphrases. Things went downhill once news of Amore's more obnoxious traits came to light. Throw in a pretty serious allegation that was denied and later dropped, and he was out of the company faster than you could say, "How you doing?" He and Cass would subsequently make an unadvertised appearance at the Ring of Honor and New Japan Madison Square Garden show in 2019. The pair jumped the barricade in what first seemed like a shoot. Enzo then went on Busted Open Radio and blamed fans for this angle not getting over. He said why it didn't work out at that time is because there's a 10% boisterous audience of marks on Twitter that light it up and tag people. He later said that Ring of Honor got cold feet over using them more because of the bad reaction to the MSG incident. Sure, that's the reason it didn't work. Number 6, narrative uncontrolled. Like Enzo, EC3 went on a teensy bit of an unhinged journey after he left WWE. The former Mr. Carter III shaved his head and started talking about controlling his narrative after being cooped up by the big dub for far too long. Everything seemed fine until he started talking about starting his own promotion. Control your narrative quickly became something of a meme amongst wrestling fans as the company tried and failed to make itself seem edgy. Drawing comparisons to Fight Club was never going to help your case, lads. Despite announcing Control Your Narrative in early 2022, nothing has really come out of it. Was the market too crowded? Did Braun Strowman leaving for WWE throw a spanner in the works? Well, according to EC3, it's actually our fault. He blamed fans who wouldn't give the project a chance, saying in an interview with Shaq Wrestling, the divisiveness comes from people don't know what it is yet, haven't really consumed it. He would also say, each and every company uses the standard, we're doing it for the fans. I'm not creating it for the fans. He does know where money in wrestling comes from, right? Number 5, in the gym. Really? A gym is probably the closest thing a wrestler has to an office. It's where they spend a lot of their times, it's where they hone their craft, and it's where they take thirsty pictures for Instagram. It's quite an important place then, so surely nobody would ever think of disturbing a wrestler whilst they were working out. Right? In 2017, whilst getting some reps in at a gym in Jonesboro, Arkansas, Randy Orton was spotted by a fan who asked him for a photo. The Viper declined, but his admirer snapped a photo of him anyway. Seriously, why would you taunt Randy like this? Do you remember his feud with Christian? Orton went ballistic at the fan, who told the Northeast Arkansas reports that he came up to me, got in my face and said, "What the F are you doing? I said no goddamn pictures." He then dropped him with an RKO and punted him right in the dome. Oh wait, that was Christian again. The fan then said that Orton didn't endear himself to anybody as a result of this incident. You know what's not endearing? Taking people's pictures without permission. Number 4, the champ is here, and he's annoyed. YouTubers. Bunch of scum they are. Never catch me doing a thing like that. One such user of the Big Red site thought that he could up his subscriber count by targeting an unsuspecting WWE superstar whilst he was out and about. His name? John Cena! The 16-time world champion was shopping in London, England in 2019 when he was approached by the Chancer, camera phone in hand. He then started to talk to Cena, despite it being made very clear that the star didn't want to be filmed. Staying remarkably calm throughout the whole ordeal, Cena said, "I need you please to ask. You're going to use all of this without my permission. You didn't ask to shoot. You're still filming. Be respectful." The man really does live the gimmick, doesn't he? The whole thing just goes on and on for ages until Peacemaker manages to escape. The video received considerable backlash online as the YouTuber was called out for not giving the man his privacy. Maybe Cena really does wish that we can't see him. Number 3, no women's wrestling? Blame the fans. Women's wrestling in WWE has come a long way in a relatively short space of time. Granted, it's still not perfect, but at least nobody's been made to wrestle in gravy for a while. But why were the women of WWE treated so poorly for so long? Was it due to deep-seated sexism within the industry? The attitudes of society towards women in general? Well, if you ask current AEW star Saraya, it's because of idiots like us. The former Paige spoke out on this issue with Gulf News Entertainment back in 2019. She said that it was never WWE holding the women back, it was the fans not taking them seriously. They wanted to see more of the male characters many years ago. It was a male-dominated sport. Whilst this was probably true to a certain portion of the wrestling audience over the past 2 decades or so, it is not fair to tar every single viewer with the same brush. Also, Paige made these comments whilst promoting Fighting With My Family, a film that WWE Studios helped to make. So yeah, make of that what you will. Number 2, Rollins Turns Red. At SummerSlam 2016, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor had a banger of a match. At least I think it was a banger. All I can remember is people booing really loudly. Why would they do that? Oh yeah, because this was the match to crown the first ever Universal Champion, and fans absolutely hated the belt when they first saw it. Possibly because it looked like somebody had turned the color saturation all the way up on the existing WWE Championship. Those in attendance that night dumped all over the new title and the subsequent Balor-Rollins match. One half of that contest then took to Twitter to share his thoughts on the Brooklyn crowd's reaction. Seth Rollins tweeted, "More important than a title's appearance is what it represents for the men fighting over it. You really let me down tonight, Brooklyn." Why does he sound like my mum when she discovered I'd scoffed down an entire pot of jam when I was 6? Alright, it was last week. Whether you believe that Rollins was right to criticize the fans or that he should have just let them express themselves, one thing is undeniable. It really was an ugly belt. Number 1, Ronda. Just Ronda. Oh. It started out so well for Ronda Rousey in WWE. Her first appearance with The Rock at Mania 31 was great, and then she followed it up 3 years later with an amazing in-ring debut on the grandest stage. Unfortunately, things quickly started to go downhill. Rousey would turn hard on the fans in the lead up to Mania 36, calling wrestling fake and its supporters ungrateful. Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the last time she would take her anger out on viewers. In late 2022, she laid into fans again following her disastrous match with Shotzi at Survivor Series. She would also call out fans for chanting for the return of Bray Wyatt after his release. On Twitter in 2021, she posted in reference to Wyatt, "If WWE treated him like he was expendable, it was because you ungrateful idiots did it first." Granted, this could have been an in-character tweet, but based on the whole relationship the former UFC star has with the fans since getting into the biz, maybe that's a little bit hard to believe. Perhaps she will calm down now that she's with her best bud Shayna Baszler on screen, or maybe that'll make everything twice as bad. Who knows? See ya!